DIY.
Okay, DIYers, over the last week, there was a conversation that UK grime, the genre, UK grime legend, Skepta, sat down with Ebro on his show that is hosted on Apple Music, and there was many different topics that they covered dealing with Skepta's career, and then, like most podcast episodes with rappers, eventually it came back to the conversation of Drake versus Kendrick. Yes, I know. It's a lot. But still, this was an interesting point of view because he's expressing something that's not necessarily a popular opinion, and it could be him just trying to figure things out, but he expressed how he felt about the battle, and he said something that didn't put either one of Kendrick or Drake in a positive light. But I want to center in more so on what he said specifically about Kendrick, because I thought it was odd commentary. Now, I'm going to take a little snippet of it right here off of this Twitter page where they snipped it up from the interview, and I've watched the full interview to make sure that I wasn't out of context. And you'll see, if you go watch the full thing, at this part of the conversation, Ebro's winding around. He's like, look, man, we talked about everything else. What you think about this battle? This is what he had to say, and this is posted, clipped up by Joe Budden Clips. Peep it out.
I think it's changed, and probably this battle, what I just saw is probably what is hit the nail on the head for me, where it's like, when stuff gets said like that now, today, it's more personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's something about...
There was a lot of lying on there. There was a lot of lying. People was just saying...
There was one...
Shit. They was just saying shit.
There was one K-Dot diss track that came out, and I was like, oh, this is over. Like, this isn't rap. This isn't a rap diss and clashing anymore.
No, they don't like each other.
This is over. Like, They don't like each other. It's clear. I can hear it. Like, I can hear it in his voice. He doesn't like Drake, when it sounded like you two just really want to see each other and do each other something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like that would hit him up. And I even said the same shit, when Pusha T and Drake was doing their thing and he said the shit about 40. I was like, nah, I don't like that. I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit. But then there's people who are like, nah. Then you see like the battles, the URLs and all that type of shit, and you're like, whoa. It goes far.
Not to cut it too early, but do you guys get a feeling that there's a bit of a revisionist history when it comes to this battle? It hasn't even been 9 months yet. It's still in the same calendar year. Do you guys get a feeling that this is already starting to be some revisionist history? What's going on, Justin? Are you getting that feeling? Because I feel like if this was a movie, they didn't see the same movie that we saw. I remember specifically, and this was around the first warning shots that you got from, and we're going to go into a bit of the timeline. It was positioned as a friendly fade. That was quoted on Euphoria. And it got progressively more and more personal. It started to bleed out of the music and into Instagram stories talking about Kendrick's wife, kids, business partner, manager. It's a lot of revisionist history. And it's getting to the point now where it feels like the battle rap comparison just feels dry at this point. There's a difference between when two people are being paid for a competition and there's records on the line, and this is the nature. You're in the act. A lot of these are in a ring or on a stage that is specific. There's a different type of battle. So when things are said, you know that's the nature of it. However, when you're talking about songs where there's no referee, there's no, person that owns a platform that's saying, okay, you got 2 minutes, it's just kind of like the Wild Wild West, and that's exactly what it was. So to hear how these things are outrageous, but forget about this. This is not even the worst part for me. I just want to make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing about this revisionist history.
Okay.
Maybe you know what? It's age.
No. We're gonna hit it though, Ebro. We got time. Even if they cut the cameras off, we're gonna figure this out. Do you know what I think it is?
Huh?
Because they are in positions where they are both
the biggest.
They are both really big, yeah. Have major deals, major cahoots with major companies, right? Talking to each other like this is looking crazy. Like
that's a good point.
You're calling him a word, but this guy's signed to thing. So now how can they sign a man that is being accused of this thing?
Better question is, instead of being conscious of how it appears to the companies that are shelling out money, why don't we be conscious of where the accusations come from? One thing I keep hearing, people that pop up and that are trying to find some kind of defense for Drake, which I don't understand. It's a grown man. He put himself in the middle of a battle with somebody that he was very much unprepared to go up against. He thought it would be a battle of trolling and a battle of social media, and it was a very different battle than what he seemed to be prepared for. But everybody comes in here with this revisionist history, and now we're going to throw the layer of, what about the sponsors? And I'm looking at this and I'm like, first of all, when have the sponsors been any kind of validation or any kind of measurement of what's successful in hip hop? Right? When have they ever been a measurement of what is valid in hip hop? When have they ever got involved in the politics of a battle? A battle that once again went very left because one person decided to make it a lot more personal and about people who are not in the midst of a battle, people who don't rap. And then it went off the rails. So I'm listening to this and I'm like, since when we care about Nike and Pepsi? More to the culture. That's how I'm reading this. Maybe I'm short-sighted. I'll let him continue.
So now the things that, when I was clashing in grime, we never had nothing to lose. There you go. This is where I'm landing now. So when we're saying things to each other, you could call me anything in the world. I'm not going to lose a Nike deal.
Right.
I'm not going to not be able to put food in. That'd probably even get me more money because we'll go to the show and do the clash on the stage and more people are paying and rare, you know what I'm saying? So
the version they was doing was hurting.
It's hurting what we've built. It's hurting what we've all built this whole time, like you two, man. If you don't like each other, just link up and speak and just talk to each other, or don't speak to each other. But all this stuff you're saying to each other, for the rest of everyone else who is waiting in line for the doors that you've kicked open, these doors are shutting on us right now, bro.
Am I reading this right? Kendrick makes a song called Not Like Us, and he accuses the other guy of being a PDF file. And that's where it's gotten out of control. We ignore that the only reason people even entertain the idea is because there are questionable things out there from Drake's own accounts, specifically the younger Drake, who was in his 20s and had a young lady on stage, and he asked her what her age was, and he was like, "Oh, no, you underage? Oh, baby girl, you try to get, why you look like that?" And then still gave her a kiss. Why is there a magnifying glass on the things being said and not necessarily on why they're being said? It seems like the people that at one point in time, shout out to What's the Dirt, that you could count on to do this deep dive and stop digging. And I feel like that's the part of this that maybe they don't have the point of view. The more people come to the defense of old Drakey Poo, the more that these things start to get highlighted. Wait. Why are we placing such a focus on the song and not on why the song even has any kind of validating factors or any kind of weight to it? But this is now a disaster. I'm going to tell you right now, ain't nobody lives in no... The man that made the damn song called Not Like Us is performing at the Super Bowl.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
What? The man that just made this song is performing at the Super Bowl. The place where the place where corporations pay millions of dollars to get their commercials up there. What are we talking about? What sponsors is leaving? You got me hot. You got me hot right now. God, I love the internet sometimes. Skepta. I support him. And you know what I do respect about that interview and what was said? He seems to be attempting to figure it out, like in real time. He's like, man, the cameras can go. Like, let's figure this out. What is it? Is it an age difference? Is it, the risk that social media brings into it? Because he's been involved in battles himself, and he said some crazy shit. I'm not highlighting that today. But Skepta, don't act like you wasn't drinking the not like us Kool-Aid like everybody else. What do you mean? Oh, somebody pulled this clip. I don't know if you think.
Oh yeah, he got the Toronto. Yeah, we in Paris though. Just letting y'all niggas know. Facts.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show me.
Oh my fucking god.
You gotta do what?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
You gotta do what, Skepta? I know that ain't who I just seen in that one interview talking about the responsibility we got. Why you up here rolling up some weed on this motherfucking video on with your motherfucking name on it? They got your face in the damn camera. You talking about some sponsorships? What you worried about sponsorships? You want to roll up that weed? Ain't nothing wrong with weed, but what are we doing? But you want to talk about this?
Facts.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show me.
Oh, you drank the juice like everybody else, but now you want to sit here and let's really think about this, brothers. Did we lose our way? No, it was a moment. What has happened to my hip hop? Why is it becoming so soft? I love the mental health focus, but why is it becoming so soft? Can we stop this revisionist history? I got one request. Can we stop this revisionist history? Well, I'm here to remind the people. I'm here to remind the people because it seems like sometimes people sound either compromised or maybe they just had a change of heart. But the way that they're collecting these their experience or their memorization of things just doesn't feel accurate. If you remember, in Euphoria, Kendrick did a lot of warning to Drake in Euphoria. Hey, don't speak on the family, Crody. It can get deep in the family, Crody. Talk about me and my family, Crody. Someone gonna bleed in your family, Crody. That's a hell of a warning. Drake was like, nah, because family matters. He said, okay, if you take it there, I'm going to take it further. Psst, that's something you don't want to do. Anytime somebody whisper to you over a beat and stop the music, you might want to take heed to the warning. Drake said, nah, I'm the biggest in the world. Can't nobody stop me. I'm the biggest in the world. So since they want to have revisionist history, let's allow somebody who did a really dope breakdown or thread here on Twitter about the highlights of the horrible mistakes made by Drake during the battle with Kendrick Lamar. Let's run through these real quick. This is by an account that goes by Cobb. First one, bragging on first-person shooter with J. Cole. One refers to himself as Ali, J. Cole, and the other brags about passing MJ, the king. They said big three, but this felt like it felt like we're actually the big two. Got it. Make sure this is showing up on here properly. Okay, mistake number 2. Kendrick drops his verse on Like That. What I think was the first warning shot in the air. I felt like it was, now look at this, a warning shot. He's pointing to them two niggas. He said, hey, all of y'all are safe, but you two? Mistake number 2, Kendrick drops his verse on Like That and let it be known how he felt about first-person shooter. Why would you taunt the boogeyman like that, says the account. Third mistake, instead of staying silent, because Drake didn't, and preparing for the war, Drake turned into Meek Mill with the IG captions and responded with posts like this. Oh, did we forget? They'd rather go to war with me than admit they're their own worst enemy. Laughing emoji. Wasn't worried about sponsorships then, was he? I could never sell y'all out to sell my latest work. Never do you bad out the blue, but I'm down to make it worse. What? He was just putting up stories. We forget about this part of it. That's excusable. Wasn't worried about sponsors then, huh? Let's keep it cooking. Mistake 4, faith in J. Cole. Drake assumed J. Cole would be on his side and they would fight this battle against Kendrick Lamar. Cole shoots back on 7-minute drill, although Cole did not sound that confident. Mistake 5, should have known better. Drake's partner in this battle hit the eject button and left Drake on his own after apologizing at the Dreamville Fest. Cole removed 7-minute drill off the DSPs. Drake should have known Cole is a lover, not a fighter. Mistake number 6, 20v1. After Cole's blunder, it was obvious this fight would just be Drake versus Kendrick. Oddly enough, Drake decides to target countless others on push-ups and does not focus primarily on Kendrick. Also mentions Kendrick's fiance. Weren't worried about sponsors then, now was he? And it didn't even get to the worst part yet. I just need to make sure we have a proper recollection of the events. Mistake number 7, push-ups is out. Instead of letting the music talk for itself, OVO Chubb says something that he probably regrets now. OVO Hush made claims some AI Kendrick responses is real. Remember the AI back and forth? Remember I made a video exposing one of those videos, one of those songs, push-ups, versions being AI, and then they were saying, that's the Kendrick version. He did it. No, he's using AI. Then the real songs came. Mistake number 8, media personalities. Through this beef, Drake used media personalities like academics and Maul to drop hint at music and bash Kendrick. Drake thought he could use these people to sway the public opinion towards his side. It was obvious to see who was compromised. Are we seeing a pattern here? Do we remember this part? Do we remember this part? You forgot this part of the movie? He's watching a director's cut. This is a director's cut. Mistake number 9, more IG captions. Drake continued to make more captions, which included ones of Kendrick's manager holding OVO store bags, begging for Kendrick to respond. Bullies will get bullied. You know who follows Drake? Sponsors. You know who got eyes? The people who work for them sponsors. Wasn't worried about sponsors then, huh? Mistake 10, Taylor made AI Pac. Mistake 11, Drake, his fans, and the media personalities that he used made it out to seem that Kendrick was afraid and not responding. Then Kendrick drops Euphoria. Nah. Mistake number 12, underestimating Dot. Kendrick decided to fire off on 616 in L.A. Drake asked him to drop, which turned out to haunt him, as he could not match the current pace and angles Kendrick was using. Mistake 13, there was no nuke. Remember Drake and Maul went on IG, Twitter, and posted these images prior to Family Matters dropping. They thought they had a nuke. Drake continued to diss several artists, and not just Kendrick. And he also claimed Dot beat his fiance and his son is Dave Freeze. Remember that? Sponsors are still watching, though. They still watching. Mistake 14, literally minutes after Family Matters dropped, Kendrick ruined Drake's celebration with Meet the Grams. Kendrick warned Drake about mentioning his family, now Kendrick fired away at Drake's. Caption and lies. Kendrick and Meet the Grams said Drake has a daughter. The artwork also shows stolen items. Drake ran to IG to deny the daughter, and his team told academics the stolen items were his father's. A claim that Ebony Prince refutes. You remember this part of the movie? Should I keep it going? Keep it going. Mistake 16, the bop from Yop. Drake appeared to be stung by how quick Kendrick stopped the momentum of Family Matters. Kendrick was not done. He dropped Not Like Us, which became a hit out the gate. Currently the #1 record on Billboard. In addition to the #1 on Billboard, it's also nominated for 5 Grammys. Oh, round of applause. The Grammys just announced that all those people who submitted their music off in hopes of being mentioned in those final nominations, they announced those in what an amazing year. Kendrick has 5 categories that Not Like Us is nominated: Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, Best Music Video. And somewhere in this same universe, a gentleman named Tommy Richmond, who said, I ain't a hip hop artist. We're gonna take your songs off the radio. Okay, I'm not only a hip hop artist. I want to submit my music to the rap category. He wasn't a part of the none of them. No, he not in the rap category. It is just getting it's now that we have a little bit of refreshing on what actually happened in the battle, I'm noticing a lot of weird takes popping up. Skepta seemed like he was coming from a very genuine place of trying to figure things out, but even to a certain degree, I listen to that and I say, the timing, especially when they got you on tape saying, sometimes you gotta pop out at the show. When you got that on video, it don't make your case sound too good. But speaking of sponsorships, I really want to get into this thing because obviously we live in a time where rappers do care about sponsorships. They do care about whatever money they can get because obviously music ain't paying what it should be or what used to be. With that said, a Toronto-based podcast, I'm familiar with Friday, Ricky Dredd. In this podcast episode, he speaks to why, him and a guest speak to why they feel like there's a possibility that Drake is more anti-establishment than Kendrick Lamar. Goalposts, move. Goalposts, move. Okay, I'll entertain it. What we talking about?
Probably.
Not like us.
So what are we doing? Are we the guy who's anti-industry, or are we doing everything that the industry wants us to do?
Oh my goodness. This is
No, he's doing it on his own timing.
Okay, wait, best rap
Is he?
performance.
Because those people you have to be on a strict schedule to be
True.
with the Super Bowl. You're rehearsing from the time it was announced, he's rehearsing. Right? So he's on their schedule. He can't even do shit outs. Right?
True.
Industry shit.
Yeah.
Right? Drake's turning down the Super Bowl 4 times allegedly.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I got other shit to do. I just want to do my music how I want to do it, like an artist.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you right now, everybody that is defending Drake sounds a lot more confident than he sounds.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Like when they talk like as if they are him, they sound a lot more confident than his actions are showing. He sounds more confident than Drake did when he was on his Pink Beret tour, when he was staring down DeMar DeRozan. He sound more confident than Drake's stare down when DeMar DeRozan looked in his direction. He was like, ooh. Continue.
Oh my
Right?
goodness.
A la Kendrick Lamar. Right?
And he hangs out with Dr. Dre.
Oh, your award shows that mean nothing to us? I'm not even submitting for that shit. Oh, I dropped a diss track dissing a man, calling him a PDF. Hey, can I get an award for that?
Yo, it's almost like
Yeah.
Drake is more anti-establishment than Kendrick, even though Kendrick's whole brand.
No, he is more anti-established. Not almost. He is.
Kendrick's whole brand is.
Okay. Let's entertain it for a second. I'm going to go on the record and say this. Once you as an artist, and this goes for Kendrick, this goes for Drake, once you as an artist decide to get in bed and do business with these corporations, these major labels, you no longer have the ability to stand on anti-establishment because you're doing business with the very thing that you're supposed to be anti. I don't think this is an argument that I've heard Kendrick make. I've heard him talk about being anti-industry, being anti-making music from a very shallow place, being pro-art. But I don't look at this in it like, why do we keep moving? Like, they're looking for a win in whatever ways they can. And I understand these are podcast platforms and you got to get topics going. But I never saw this as like, why is this a competition of anti-establishment? And why do we continue? I'm going to keep saying this. Why do we continue to gloss over? Yeah, there's a song about him being a PDF file. Like, what he's doing. Why does the song exist? And why do people have questions about the questionable things that they're seeing? And why all this detective work they're doing, why nobody digging into that? They just assuming that it's no way that it's possible. I'm pretty sure they said the same thing about the dealer. Innocent until proven guilty.
Built on being anti-establishment and like pro-people, but like
But
the
needs
things
the
he's doing.
machine.
But he needs them. He likes the machine.
He
loves
got a
it.
song with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, he
And
loves the
Maroon
machine.
5.
And Maroon 5. I don't like to keep on bringing this shit up.
No,
and they
makes
call
sense.
us the Drake Glazers or whatever.
No, it makes
but
sense.
fam, like,
That's a
It
good
makes
point.
sense.
the one man that you guys call the culture vulture, white boy,
Yeah.
colonizer, all this, he's like, no, I don't want to be part of any of you guys' big organizations
Yeah,
and
I'm
shit like that.
against it.
That's not called anti-establishment. That's called privilege. That's called high yellow privilege. That's called I can be Jewish when it's convenient. Can you open up doors for me there? I can be more white than I am black here. Is it convenient here? Hey, I could wear barrettes in my hair and I'm with your culture. I could be Atlanta. You know what?
You run to Atlanta when you need a few
Shut up, Kendrick. Shut up, Kendrick.
Of colonizing. What?
That's called privilege. That's called privilege. You have the privilege to say no to things. When you have a $400 million plus check in your pocket from UMG, you have the privilege. You ever heard of pretty girl privilege? This is called privilege. To be able to say, I ain't gonna do that. That's good you have that privilege. But that's privilege. That's not. The anti-establishment guy is not going to put such an emphasis on trying to crack all the charts, trying to make that your story of being bigger than Michael Jackson. No, that's not you are making. I'm in the room full of people who understand this point.
I'm going to do me and still be the top guy. But then the guy who's dissing him is at all of the parties that he wants to die.
Yeah.
Except for the white party. Dog. My favorite show was The Twilight Zone. Like that was before my time. I used to watch the marathons on Memorial Day. I never thought I'd be living in it, but I'm for sure living in it.
Yeah.
Can we dig into this a little bit more? Can we really make a point here? Can we really jump into this? I went and talked to ChatGPT and I said, "Hey, ChatGPT," that's how I talked to her. You know what I'm saying? I bought her some roses. She was like, "Thank you very much." As I was talking to her, I said, "Could you compile a list of the current sponsors for Drake and for Kendrick?" I'm very curious as to what they actually lost, because that is the premise of the argument that Skepta made to start this off. And they're talking about him being anti-establishment now. Now he's fucking Talcum X. As of November 24th, Drake maintains a diverse portfolio of sponsorships and partnerships across various industries. Notable collaborations include Nike and Jordan brand. Remember the Air Jordan OVOs? Toronto Raptors, where he still serves, I'm assuming, as a global ambassador for the Raptors. Okay. Stake.com. Drake became an ambassador for Stake.com, an online cryptocurrency, casino, and sports betting platform. Anti-establishment. Boy, he kicking the ass he told the man. Aspiration. Drake partnered with Aspiration, a sustainability-focused financial services company to help reduce and offset his carbon footprint. Awesome. Cash App and Visa. AC Milan. Drake became a minority shareholder in the Italian soccer club AC Milan. That's fire. Kendrick. Nike. He collaborated with Nike on several sneakers. Converse, through his PG Lang, he partnered with them for the Converse release for classic models like Chuck 70 and Pro Leather. Martine Rose, creative partnership with a British designer. Martine Rose, PG Lang, and the Super Bowl. I just feel like every day there's a new argument. And my thing is, there's so many varying opinions on this, and of course they're not going to be consistent because they're from various different places. But you would hope that the people who love this culture would keep it pretty damn consistent. You know, this is unrelated, but I think there's a point that was shared here by T-Pain, right? Because all this excusing for how could you say that? Instead of saying, well, why did you say that? T-Pain is dealing with some of this hypocrisy right now from hip hop fans, are fans of his that said he shouldn't be collaborating with Mark Zuckerberg on a song that Mark wanted to do for his wife. Take that out the equation. I know there's very polarizing opinions about him. Listen to what he said about the contradictory ways that people are criticizing him, and see if some of this stuff rings a bell.
All the people that's like, oh, you just trying to get in front of the Mark Zuckerberg thing, and Mark Zuckerberg this, Mark Zuckerberg that, and yeah. You know what? That's what I'm talking about. Y'all don't like when people have fun. Y'all don't like when people do wholesome things. Y'all don't like when people do stuff for their wives and shit like that. That's all good. But when I do songs with known drug dealers, when I do songs with motherfuckers with actual murders on their hands, and when I do songs with motherfuckers that's known scammers, when I do the songs with motherfuckers that brag about all the bad shit they done in their life, that stuff is fire.
I'm looking for revenge. I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, trying to take the weight. Y'all are defending this debauchery. You're defending someone who has shown you on many levels they don't care how reckless their lyrics get, because for them, this is a come up. For them, they don't even respect the craft enough to write their own lyrics. For them, this is a business that opens up other businesses. It is a step to another place. But all this defense of Sir Drake, as if he is the model citizen for what a rapper should be, feels inconsistent. And I'm not saying that he doesn't do charitable work. I'm not saying that he doesn't have songs. I think he does a great job of being vulnerable. At one point, he was very vulnerable. The Fear records like he did a great job at one point. He strayed away from that. There became a time where he wanted people to believe that he was really that kind of guy, that he was really about that life. And there's plenty of examples where folks are like, man, you got to be careful, man. He got shooters around him. What are we defending? And then when somebody makes a song that puts these things on blast, all of a sudden we care about our moral high ground. When some of y'all stream scammers every day, some of y'all stream, it's bad enough to stream somebody that's a real killer, but you stream people that's fake killers on a daily basis, and now you want to talk about, man, the sponsors. You care more about the sponsors than your own morality. Interesting. That's the shit we got. That's the shit that we have to correct. That doesn't make any sense to me. I want to end something on a positive note, though. I saw this story, and this is I want to contrast this. Because I'm not saying that you can't develop stories about Drake's impact on Canada or the Toronto area. And I'm sure that he's changed many of lives in the process. I mean, corporations do that as well. It's just part of, sometimes, a tax write-off. And I'm not saying that's the only thing he would do it for. But what I'm saying is this. The energy that Drake's music typically inspires, to me, in my opinion, is fuckboy behavior. Promiscuity. Seeing if you could mess with your homie's girl. Like it's music that supports an immature behavior because it's worded, it's written, it is posed, and it's directed to a younger demographic. I listen to Kendrick and I hear storytelling. I hear music I hear music from somebody who still cares about pushing his art to the highest level in his lane. I hear somebody who makes records that connect a different way than Drake. Perhaps you can pull me some references. I don't hear those when I hear the majority of Drake's music. But I do think there's a different type of thing that this rise of Kendrick is inspiring in what he represents in the true essence of hip hop on a mainstream rap level. This story a story was covered on KCAL News, a local news out here in LA, where it says, meet the teacher who connected Kendrick Lamar to hip hop. Say all the negative things you want to say about Not Like Us. This story is pretty interesting because I feel like this is also more relevant because of a song like Not Like Us. Hate it or love it. Listen to this.
They not like us. They not like us.
And Compton's own Kendrick Lamar scoring a Song of the Year nomination for his diss track, Not Like Us. But before the awards and the fame, Kendrick Lamar was a student at Vanguard Learning Center in Compton.
And KCAL News reporter Elise Martinez talked with the teacher who Kendrick says helped him connect to hip hop.
Put this in it: figurative language, alliteration, personification, simile, metaphor. Whatever I'm telling you to put in it, trust your teacher.
Longtime teacher Regis Inge knows what it takes to tell a good story.
Trust me.
He demands his students put everything they've got on paper.
At a time when literacy is at an all-time low, specifically in the U.S., you can attribute some of that to the pandemic. You could attribute some of that to learning over Zoom. Isn't it amazing that you have a new class of human beings, young human beings, who are interested in alliteration, double entendres, and things that were shown on a very large stage? Not the first time. But marketing tells us, the 22 immutable laws of marketing, is that there's a law of first in the mind, law of perception. Outkast wasn't the first Southern rap group, but because they branded it that, they're known as one of the greatest Southern rap groups of all time. First in the mind, that's what marketing is all about. When I listen to this, I'm saying there have been people who have done these things, these writing techniques. They've utilized these English-based terms in their writing. But now seeing the reaction at large on a mainstream level, it's got a lot of kids excited about how they can do that too. That requires reading. It requires understanding and having an idea of these English devices. Interesting.
You gotta attack. You gotta attack.
And that's what he did for his most famous former student, Kendrick Lamar.
Everybody looking at you crazy. What you the paranoia haunt you?
Kendrick was a very shy person, had a little stuttering problem, but he was a solid student.
Inge has been an English and social studies teacher at Compton Early College for many years. But before then, he taught at Vanguard Learning Center a few miles away. And it was there that he integrated poetry into his curriculum and into Lamar's life.
I'll tell you right now, we need more poetry in the curriculum.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I forget the teacher's name, but when I was in high school, I was blessed to have some really fire English teachers. And had it not been for them, I don't think that I would have had a title for a lot of the things that I heard my favorite rappers doing in their music. To me, it was all amazing. But when I had a poetry class that was an elective in high school, which they've been trying their best to get rid of, and who the hell knows what that's going to look like in the coming years, as they've gotten rid of that, you started to see a lot of the creativity be reflected as a byproduct of that. We did a video about a year ago where it talked about the amount of rappers who no longer write their lyrics down. And it dawned on me after listening to them talk about the frustration that writing it down had for them. It dawned on me, and this is not a general statement about everybody, a lot of these niggas can't read. So their memory has to get ultra enhanced for them to be able to. So my thing is this. One of the guys is inspiring rappers to act like children even into their late 30s, in my opinion. He inspires entrepreneurship. He inspires all these other things, but I think those are things that you cannot overlook. I'm looking at this gentleman and I'm saying, even in a moment where it was a vicious battle, there was a learning lesson about emotional IQ, about patience, about the power of having a talent that you invest your time into. Such a powerful talent that it could take down the biggest artist in our genre in the last 15 years and have you looking at him in a different light. I'd say that's really powerful, and the domino effect is needed now.
They not like us.
Inge says at the time, tensions were high amid a culture war.
I needed to do something because they were angry, they were wanting to fight each other, and so I needed to figure out what can I do to get them to understand how to express themselves without their fists. Poetry.
Inge turned Lamar and the other students onto rhymes, metaphors, and double entendres.
I love it.
Then helped them connect that world to hip hop and rap.
My name's Kendrick Lamar, and I'll be performing at Super Bowl 59.
Lamar is about to take the stage at the Super Bowl, and Inge, who he still keeps in touch with, will be watching.
I'm very proud of him because he's the only hip hop artist ever been given the Pulitzer Prize.
I think that Kendrick Lamar is very lucky to have him as an English teacher.
Inge's student, Sophia Garcia, is a lot like Lamar.
I'm a really shy person, but Mr. Inge has definitely made me gain confidence.
But Inge is bringing her out of her shell, too.
He has me talk a lot.
You don't gotta like the guy because maybe you have a different taste in music. You don't gotta like the guy because maybe he took down your favorite rapper. You don't gotta like the guy because other people give him so much respect and so much, some would even say praise. But you gotta call a spade when you're seeing the positive domino effect of such actions and this person happening to be the avatar that they're propping up. There's a lot of positive things that are happening as a result. And I'm just looking at this and I'm like, it makes me question what people's goals are when they get into hip hop. Because if it's about the culture, if it's about pushing hip hop forward, I've heard more, in my opinion, more fight back against the idea of a first rapper, take Kendrick out of it, the first rapper ever headlining the Super Bowl. I've heard more negative about that happening. You only get one first. I think it's unfortunate that people are not able to put their fandom aside, not able to put their pride or whatever relationships they may have behind closed doors to the side and just say, you know what? That's really fucking cool. But nah.
The rap superstar may be his most well-known student, but Inge has helped many others become famous in their own right, from clinical therapists to sound engineers.
It gives kids the understanding, like, I don't have to be a Kendrick Lamar to be successful. You can be successful just by being and going and be the first one to graduate out your family. That's success.
In Compton, Elise Martinez, KCAL News.
Shout out to him. Shout out to that gentleman. Shout out to that gentleman. I look at this and I'm like, this video right here was released on November 8th, and only a few days into it, it already has 126,000 views. I could see an alternative world where it doesn't have that because there's a different focus on Kendrick Lamar or just on hip hop in general. After a year where people were saying their rest in pieces to the genre of hip hop or mainstream rap, at least, after a year of people talking about how struggling the sales were, after a year of people being of expressing how sick they were that shit just sounded the same or that everybody was copying off of one another, we have an opportunity now where so many people have been highlighted in the last 8 months that otherwise maybe there wouldn't be such a large spotlight on them. And it's been all positive, right? Some of it, some folks are kind of taking it upon themselves to be the muscle, I guess, for Kendrick or make it about something else because they just can't stand OVOers or whatever the case may be. It ain't all positive. So you can't control everybody. But I do see all the positive effects. I do see that because I remember what it's like being a kid. I remember the first time I saw a black superhero, and I mind you, I was born in the 80s. I didn't see many. I saw some, didn't see many. And to see representation means something. To see that you could also be something like that means something. And I think for a lot of folks out here, a lot of younger folks out here, they're seeing an alternative way. And they're seeing what I've been saying since the beginning. When you care about your craft, when you dedicate time to your craft, when you push it to the highest levels of what you do, you could too have an opportunity to enjoy a success that at one point in time, people felt like, yo, if I'm not talking about some bullshit, I'm not going to get signed. I'm not going to get seen. I'm not going to get heard. The tide has been changing. It's been changing way before this. This just happened to be, it just happened to be the last cannon, right? The last needed push. Push is an understatement. The Sparta kick into the hole is what this ended up being. But I'm glad that it's happening, and I think that a lot of things are naturally rebalancing themselves, including the sound of mainstream rap. What that means in terms of success, we'll see. I think we'll learn a lot after Kendrick's album drops, after J. Cole's album drops, and after we see how much of that still sticks with people. But I still do see the value, and at least people are exposed to it. I know there's been people out here who have done the footwork before, and it's not all Kendrick. But the fact of the matter is this. The spotlight is on them. Even the people saying negative things like this that we're looking at, they're still shining a light on them. And I think that's only going to make folks more curious about why that is. Last but not least, I really hope we start to see the same responsibility that some of these people are asking of a Kendrick and Not Like Us, of Drake. Why don't you have these same peers saying, he's acting really immature? No. It's coddle. He has every right to act that way. How many every rights do you give somebody before some stupid shit happens and then you flip and say, maybe that wasn't the right direction to go in? Wait, no, he don't. Jeremy Cole, is this a true statement? Don't have me look this up. No, he don't. Well, case, you solved the case by your damn self. You just solved the case by your damn self. Oh my. This can't be real. It's no way this is real. It's no way this is real. There's no way. No. We get to the next story. You just made this blog post right now.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Y'all better than real detectives. Double it up.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Should have added that to the story. I for sure would have been good to add to the story. Wish I would have been reading the chat at that time. Skepta does not have an OVO tat. This is AI. It's got to be AI. I need more sources. There ain't no way. Look like a London Tower with the Batman signal for the OVO owl. It all makes sense now. Now I'm not listening to nothing. Now I gave it more credit than I should have. It says for photography via Instagram. Oh, it's from his actual Instagram. Hey, bro, what is life? No, don't zoom in. Don't. No. Back up. That's enough. That's about enough. That's about enough there. Yep, I've seen enough here. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.
DIY.